Offensive line help is on the way. The Bears activated Ryan Bates' 21-day practice window to return from the injured reserve. We have today's full injury reports and more. Let's go ahead and get right into it. First off, the injury report. Some good news and some bad news. First, the good. Larry Borum is back. He returned to practice today and was a full participant. And then Tevin Jenkins and Ryan Bates were also back. They were both limited. I'll talk more about Bates in just a minute, but it's great news that Tev is back to practice. I was worried that he suffered a major injury. Tev is a warrior. There's a chance he's back out there this weekend. Okay, now the bad news. Jaquan Brisker and Kyler Gordon both remain out of practice. On top of that, Braxton Jones is out as well, and Montez Sweat was out today. And then also Karan Omegaji was also out. The injuries are starting to pile up and become worrisome. Hopefully, Brisker and Gordon can return this week. They've been out of practice for about 3 weeks now. Braxton is considered week to week. Hopefully, he's back out there pretty soon, but he probably won't play this week. It's looking like Larry Borum is in line to start at left tackle. And then we just have to monitor the situation with Montez Sweat. I'm hoping he's okay and just needs a few days off and that he should play Sunday, but we'll see. Okay, and then I want to talk for a couple minutes to remind people what Ryan Bates brings to the table and who he is. We've never actually seen him play as a Bear, but he's been a guy who's been talked about for 3+ years now. Ryan Poles would give up a 5th round pick in this year's draft to acquire Bates. On top of that, Poles also signed Bates to a 4-year contract back in 2022 when he was a restricted free agent. So Poles' pursuit of Bates has been in the works for some time. The Bills matched that offer and kept Bates in Buffalo, but then they dealt him to Chicago 2+ years later. Now Bates is under a cost-controlled contract that Ryan Poles wrote himself for another year and a half. He is 27 years old. He went undrafted out of Penn State and was signed as a UDFA by Ian Cunningham's Eagles and then moved on to the Buffalo Bills. Bates has really good size. He's 6'4", 300 pounds with 32-inch arms and is extremely athletic. He scored a 9.57 on his RAS score, and he's been versatile in his time in the NFL. He ran nearly 19 miles per hour. He's a guy who can really move. He played left tackle at Penn State, but has played mostly guard in the NFL. His scouting report out of college said he could play all 5 positions. In the NFL so far, he's been relegated to an interior player. His home has mostly been right guard, but he's also seen action at left guard and center as well. This is a guy who could potentially stabilize this offensive line on the interior. I really like Ryan Bates, and I would love to see him help this O-line. I do not think he should be our starting center right now. Coleman Shelton has been one of the few players who hasn't missed any time this year, and he's been pretty good. And on top of that, guard has just been much more of a trouble spot, kind of like I predicted this offseason. Nate Davis has fallen out of favor, and he's a healthy scratch right now. He was passed on the depth chart by Matt Pryor, Bill Murray, and Doug Kramer. Ryan Bates should immediately take Bill Murray's spot, backing up all 3 interior positions. If Tev can't go, maybe Bates would be able to get in at left guard. He's also our backup center, and he could challenge Matt Pryor for time at right guard. Pryor has been good but not great. He is limited athletically. I still think Bates is probably a week or two away from being activated, but with all of the injuries on the offensive line, he is someone to keep an eye on. I have a bunch more content on the way. I just wanted to get this out quickly for you guys. Remember to hit that like button for me. Keep your head up. Stay tuned. And until next time, bear down.